This is the Calvin D Project, where we interview interesting people driven to change the trajectories of those they serve through learning, teaching, and writing. I want to thank you for being here. We're pleased to welcome Jeremy Reece out of Dallas, Texas. Make sure you stick around because some of the most powerful content is the advice portion that's at the end. So right before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so you can get more episodes like this one. Jeremy Reece, tell me a little bit about yourself and your ministry.
I'm Jeremy Reece. I'm here in the Dallas, Texas area where I attend Full Gospel Holy Temple under the leadership of Apostle Herman Lopez Mary Jr. under the direction of T.K. Stillman and our Minister of Music, Dr. Tony Wade.
How did you get your start into gospel music?
Well, I kind of got started during the pandemic. I always had the desire to get into recording, just never had the opportunity or the connections to get started. I think that's a huge question for aspiring artists. How do I get started and who do I need to talk to get started? One of the platforms that became available for me was Ty Delaney's platform, which was Delaney Land Music, in which he created a platform for indie artists in which he had all the resources available for you, the producers, background vocals, mixing, mastering, whatever you need. They had it there, one-stop shop for you to get your music. I signed up with them, and that's how I got my start.
What would you say is your style as an artist?
I would say more contemporary, more praise and worship. I like a lot of Ty Delaney songs. All-time favorite artist is Jason Nelson, so pretty much any of his CDs, I love it. So that's kind of where my style is at.
Your song Healing, which was chosen by Gospel Hits to be on the Healing Gospel Music playlist on Spotify, and was top 10 on Radio Indie Alliance on the Donna Walton Gospel Network. Talk about your song Healing.
Healing, that's a song that came from testimony. Many know that I was diagnosed with COVID on last year. I got really sick, and I go to the gym, I work out, I do whatever I need to do to take care of my body naturally, and I let God do the rest. I ended up getting COVID, and I got a real bad case, and that was mixed with pneumonia, and I got really sick to the point where, it was hard to breathe. I ended up going to the hospital. The doctor said, somebody your age don't expect you to get sick like this with COVID. He gave me some prescriptions. I just really felt like I wasn't going to make it. I just began to pray, watch some of the sermons from home, build my faith up, and change my attitude. I'm going to live, I'm not going to die.
Right.
God came in, and it's just amazing how he came in and healed me, gave me a 100% recovery. I don't have any lingering effects from it. After he did that, it caused me to think about what God just did for me. He just healed me of something that's taken out a lot of people. I just began to think about it, and God just began to give me the words, because I wasn't a songwriter. I didn't do songwriting, but he gave me the words, and I just began to pray, and it just came naturally. That's pretty much where healing came from.
You didn't disappoint either with your single Who You Are to Me. Talk about that song.
Both of those two songs I actually wrote after COVID. I actually wrote Who You Are to Me first. That one just came natural. I began to just think about, God, who you are to me. Yeah, you just healed me, but you're more than that. You're everything that I need. You're the air that I breathe. You're my healer. You're my protection. So I just began to dwell on that. God just began to give me the words to the songs. I believe he wanted me to write that and release that so that it can encourage and help other people. And so Who You Are to Me just came natural. I was able to finish that. I actually started writing Healing first, but I put it on the back burner because there was something just missing from it. And that was God's way of telling me, I want you to release Who You Are to Me first. And then he began to give me the rest of Healing, and I was able to complete that one.
What comes to mind when you hear the words, let your power fall?
Let your power fall, and that's when the glory of God begins to fill the place. God, let your power fall, move like you want to move. We surrender all to you. We want you to have your way in this place. So when we say let your power fall, Father God, let it fall to the point where we know your God and your glory is in this place.
What song that you perform would you say ministers to you the most?
Who you are to me, because it's all encompassing. It's not just the healing. It makes you think about who God is to you personally. Who God is to me, it can be something different to you because you experience something else.
Right.
I know him as a healer. You might know him as a protector. You might know him as a provider, where you were going through some type of situation where you needed God to be Jehovah Jireh to provide for you. So who you are to me, that's my favorite in performing, because it takes the listener to a personal space and let you worship and picture who God is to you personally.
Talk about the praise team at Fully Gospel Holy Temple, headed by Minister of Music Tony Wade and Director TK Stillman.
I'm a part of the praise team. TK Stillman is our praise team leader. I'm just appreciative, and I thank God for the opportunity to be a part of a praise team, and I don't take it lightly. Yeah. To me, it's not just something just to do. I take it like it's a real job. I do stuff on my own to perfect my gift, to make sure I'm ready to go when I'm called upon. So I take it very seriously. To me, it's an honor to be able to invoke God's presence, because as a part of the praise team, you're invoking God's presence. You're bringing in God. You're getting the people involved because you want God to come in and you want him to have his way. You're setting the stage for the preached word. I definitely don't take it lightly, and it's just been an honor to serve with the praise team. I'm grateful because he can choose anybody he wants to. Sure. You know, with my church, there's a lot of people there, so he could have picked anybody, but I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be there and serve.
I want to talk a little bit about people that support indie artists. Talk about having the support of people like Robert Barnes, Lady Wonder Bell, Regina Clark-Jones. Why is it important for independent artists to have people like those in the corner?
It's definitely important because you have people like those who are genuine. That's what you look for, people that are genuine, who are going to encourage you to keep going. Especially when you first start off as an indie artist, you might run into some situations where you get discouraged, but you need people like that in your corner who's going to encourage you and tell you to keep going. And when you feel like, well, maybe should I do this? It's something I should be doing. They're definitely encouraging and supporting you, which is the big thing, because not everybody has to play your music on the radio. And I think the pandemic caused a lot of more people to get into music. So the industry is saturated. And so for someone to hear your music and to think that it's good enough to be played on the radio, when there's so many hundreds of people making songs and releasing them each and every day, just to have someone like that in your corner to support you is definitely good.
There are a lot of talented and gifted gospel artists. While some may be more popular than others, talk a little bit about the spirit of competition in gospel music.
We know that Jonathan McReynolds wrote a song about comparison kills. I definitely had to think about that song when I first got started, because essentially it has become a competition. Who has the best gift, who can do the best runs. It's kind of gotten a little bit away from the ministry portion. I don't look at it like to compete. I look at it from a standpoint of ministry, because sure, I want my music to get heard around the world. I want it to be played on the radio. And of course, I'm going to do everything with the gift that he gave me to create good music so that it does get to play. But at the same time, I'm more ministry driven. I want it to change lives. I want people to be saved. I want, when they're listening to my song Healing, I want them to play it in the hospital rooms. That they got cancer, they're about to die, they're about to give up. I want them to play Healing, and that encourages them and causes them to climax their faith to come out of whatever they're going through. Who you are to me, they could be in a state of depression. They just hear the song and they can begin to think about, well, you know what, God, he is this, he is that, and encourages them. Or somebody gets saved, demons are cast out of people. Like, I want my music anointed to that point, and it not be so much about competition, but more about ministry.
I like that. What words of encouragement would you like to give to an aspiring artist?
I would say don't give up. At times it can be discouraging. I've had A couple of not ideal situations getting started with producers. It kind of discourages you a little bit, but don't give up. Just keep going. Like I said, you have people in your corner. Somebody's going to be in your corner. Those people are going to be pushing you forward. Actually, Who You Are to Me and Healing were not the first song that I recorded. I actually recorded another song that I haven't released yet. I recorded half of it before I recorded those, which I finally was able to finish. It'll be on my upcoming album. But I started the process with a producer and things didn't go like I thought it was. I kind of got discouraged. Like, is this how it is? I might need to give up. But I stuck with it. The opportunity became available with Todd Delaney's platform. I was able to meet a lot of people there and get some more connections, genuine connections. Eventually, I was able to also complete that other song. So I would just say, hang in there, don't give up, don't get discouraged, because if God's called you to do something, He's going to help you bring that to pass.
I'm going to change gears a little bit. If you're going to do a concert for 4 independent artists, who's going to headline your concert?
I would definitely have Aaron Gordon Jr. Definitely love him. Very genuine, Holy Ghost feel. I know he's safe, real. So I definitely would have him come and sing the Power Down. Of course, I would have Sister Jemiah Cannon, who's at one of our Full Gospel Incorporated churches. She's one of the best female gospel singers I know. So I definitely would have her there. I would also have Andre Simmons Franklin. He's another local around the Dallas area. And I would also have Chadney Crystal. So I think those 4 would be a pretty good independent artist lineup. So everybody's got their different styles. Pretty much all of them are from Texas. So, I definitely feel like that would be a good concert for everybody to come to.
I agree. What new projects are you working on that you want to share with us?
So right now I'm currently working on my full album. I released those 2 singles. I'm hoping to finish a 3rd single, in which I hope to release very soon. Very, very close to complete my album. My plan is, if everything goes according to plan, to release the full album on around the 1 year anniversary of when my first single came out, which will be in February 2023. So I'm definitely working on new music, and I think you all gonna love it. I just kind of listen to it sometimes myself and be like, wow, like God, you brought me this far from not writing anything to pretty much writing most of my album, and I couldn't imagine that it would have came out like this. So definitely working on some new stuff.
I like that. I'm looking forward to it. For my audience that wants to connect with you, how do we find you?
So you can find me anywhere. I'm on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, pretty much any social media platform. You can find me there. Most of my names are Jeremy Reece. That's JEREMYREECE05. You can use that on pretty much all of them. Kind of made everything universal so nobody gets confused. So Jeremy Reece 05 on any social media platform.
Jeremy Reece, I want to thank you for being a guest on the Calvin D Project podcast this week. For my audience, be sure to connect with him on social media and also check out his music. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification icon so you can get more episodes like this one. And thank you again for listening to Calvin D Project.